Greetings, I'm 𝓑𝓫𝓼𝓮𝓻𝓽 here. I am collaborating with Black metal artists. Can you please introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Aníbal Ortiz from Rhaug, the main vocalist and guitar player. And yeah, that's who I am.
Okay, pleasure to make your acquaintance. Rhaug means demon in Sindarin. How do you choose this name and what significance does it hold for the band in relation to your music and themes?
Well, actually, when we started, we didn't have a name for a year or so. We were um, composing songs and putting subjects to songs, and we thought and making a conceptual album. And we had advanced quite a lot, and then we were asked someday, like, how is the band called? We were like, man, we don't have a name yet. So in that moment, um, I wanted the guys, the rest of the band, especially our drummer, to be more involved in the decision making process of the band. So he chose the name. He's a huge fan of Lord of the Rings, and I myself am as well. So he came out with this name, and we thought it was perfect because Rhaug means demon or some demon-like entity in the Sindarin language of Sir Tolkien of the Lord of the Rings. So that fit perfectly into the themes of our songs at the moment because trying to we're trying to talk about something kind of a demon, something like that it's called in our albums, the Emperor. So it fits very well into the concept of this first album, and I believe it will fit very well into our next songs and next albums. Yeah.
Thank you for your response. Your debut album, 𝓑𝓫𝓾𝓽, explores themes of power and enslavement. Can you elaborate on the concept behind the album and what inspired these themes?
Yeah, actually, Isa is the first single. The album's name is Rhaug as well, self-titled. So the subjects of power and enslavement, of superiority or something like that, is because we wanted in this album to talk about a concept which is the struggle, uh, power, and, and the greed, and how that journey into trying to seize the power, just I don't know, maybe for pure reasons at the beginning, um, can poison your thoughts and your will and end up becoming the very thing that you sought to destroy. So that's what we wanted to talk about in this album. And basically, in Kaisa, introduced this idea from the point of view of the emperor. So the emperor says, "I am the emperor. I am the mighty fist." So basically, he says he's the only one that can do it. He's kind of condemned to do that because he thinks that no one else can. And that arrogance, it's his his main weakness. So as we go on the songs, we start seeing it from another point of view, and it's the sentiments of the other character, which is the person struggling for power, trying to overthrow this evil emperor. And when it comes to the last song, which is enthroned, um, here he does it. He overthrows the emperor, and then he realizes he's doing pretty much the same. He has become the very thing he's trying to destroy. He's evil. He's twisted.
Well, very informative. I like.
Yeah.
Okay, for my next question, Who are your primary musical influences and how do they shape your sound? Are there specific artists or albums that have significantly impacted your songwriting?
Well, I started listening to black metal since I was like 13 years old, and maybe 14, and with bands like Dark Funeral, Enslaved, Dim Borgir, Cradle of Filth. Those were my, I don't know, the influences at the moment. When I was young. Then I started listening some progressive metal, progressive death metal. My favorite band is Opeth right now. So I really like the album Still Alive and My Arms Your Hurt. It is like their most death metal like stage, and that's something that has been within me for a very long time. I feel like they have some really a strong way of showing feelings through the music. And then I met through our drummer, Andre. He likes bands like NGLA, like his album Exercises in Futility. When I listened to that, I was mind blown. I was like, man, this cannot be this great. So I started listening more of this type of black metal, like how can I say it, like melancholic black metal, perhaps. So we found another bands that we really like 𝓑𝓻𝓾𝓽𝓪 and maybe Panzerfaust, bands like that. So I believe that listening to this kind of black metal made me uh, try to, complement with the things that I wanted to express through the music, through um, the melancholic kind of sounds, the stuff that made you, feel something when you listening to it. So we blended it with the Opeth-like influences. And also we wanted to introduce orchestra because, well, mainly because I studied at a conservatorium musical composition. So I used to compose orchestral works, and I wanted it to have this maybe sected flesh-like sound also, which blended orchestras into a really, really heavy music. So we tried to achieve that. I don't know if we really made it, but also one band that really was an inspiration for us was Behemoth because they also sound like really heavy, sometimes really melancholic as well, and they introduce orchestra, especially in their latest works. So we thought it was perfect for us to have those great, great bands as our main influences.
That's amazing. It gives you a broader perspective of the different styles that you could work on.
Yeah, we wanted to be not attached to a single genre.
Mhm.
So we wanted to mix stuff. We wanted to make something different, to try to have parts that were very black metal with the blast beats and heavy guitars, fast guitars, and then mix it with something else, maybe a slower tempo with some orchestras and some soprano singing in the back. We try to do that. I believe this is a journey because this is something that I have never heard like that in a single band. So this is a journey we're beginning and we're trying to experiment to get to a place when we say like, okay, we are totally comfortable with what we are doing right now. We are still looking for it.
That's awesome. As long as you enjoy it, that's what matters. For my next question, can you describe your songwriting process? How do the individual members contribute to the development of a song?
So that's a very good question. Actually, we have been evolving in the songwriting process because in this first album, when we started playing, when we formed the band, Andre and I, we were drinking beer the weekends and spending time together, and talking about forming a band, you know. And at the moment when Akhan joined the band in the bass, I tried to compose pretty much the whole song and then bring it up to them, show it to them, and say like, okay, do you like it or not? So I used to try to do pretty much everything myself before start shaping it with the guys, because then I had a song with all the instruments, the orchestra, lyrics, stuff that I record here in my home studio, and we started rehearsing it. And through the rehearsals, we started, maybe we should do that less, and maybe we should do that more. Maybe what if we change this riff? We started shaping it. But the main idea and pretty much like the spine of the song remained the same. It was kind of a painful process because everyone, of course, wanted to make changes and add their own spirit into it. And it was kind of difficult to remake the whole demos again and again and again. We ended up with like 20 versions each song.
A lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. So and sometimes we were even like, okay, I really like this version, but I really like this other one too. So we were struggling to decide which one to go. So for well, we ended up that the process that age of composing Rhaug, our first record, and we started composing for the next one as well. But that's what we are doing right now. But we changed the whole process. So what I'm doing right now is I come out with some ideas, I record them, and put it in a Cubase project, like the one I have in the background, and I send it to them so they can add their ideas in the early stages of the song. And that has turned out to be great because we are shaping the songs from the very beginning. It is, I mean, we take longer to create songs, but I feel like the songs that we have made so far are we really like it. We're really compromised with the song because it has a part of our spirit of each and every one of the band. So we feel really glad about it. Yeah, but I can say only that the process had changed for the better.
That's good. As long as everyone's happy with their part, because you don't want to have disagreements, because I know that could create issues too.
Yeah,
For
that's something funny because we usually don't have disagreements, especially on what we try to add to the songs. Or I mean, we all the guys that I work with, they are really good musicians. So when they say like, okay, we shouldn't do this, maybe we should do that, those are great ideas. And I say all the time, like, wow, that's great. I'm really glad to work with them because I didn't thought about it before. So, and when someone creates something that, especially me, that I create something that they don't like, it has never been like, okay, I'm going to be, I need it to be the way I did it, because they introduce stuff that end up being better than what I did. So when we heard, especially here in the home studio, we say like, damn, that was a great idea. And we all end up agreeing into what, at least the direction we are going through.
as long as that works, that's what matters. Okay, so for my final question, your album was mixed and mastered by 𝓑𝓻𝓾𝓽𝓪𝓵. I hope I said that
Yeah,
right. What was the
yeah.
experience of working with him, and how did his input influence the final sound of the album?
Well, I can start saying that Nikita is great person. He's I'm very glad that we worked with him. We contacted him when we were uh, in the middle of the recording of the album because we were trying to see which engineers we wanted to have in the project for this album. And by that moment, we were listening a lot of Der 𝓑𝓻𝓾𝓽𝓪𝓵. So we actually contacted some other people before, like for example the engineers that work with Garia and the NT4 studios. Also, we even talked to Fascination Street Studios for Jens Bogren, but we didn't have the money to pay Jens Bogren, and we listened to the work of Nikita with other bands, and we said like he does a really great job. And he's from Germany, and I speak a little bit of German, so I believe this isn't related to the music, but I was kind of excited to talk to him and get him to work on the album because we thought that at the moment he was like the best direction we could go in sound related. So we contacted him. Um, he was such a kind person to us because he told us how to do stuff beyond his role. He was there for us, well, not physically, but he was there for us in the recording process. He was telling us, like, okay, write me an email when you get the guitars done. Let me know if you need my help. Let me know if whatever. So this is the first record that we record like ever. Even talking about other bands, previous bands, I have never recorded any record. So there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know at the moment. And he was very kind to explain to me and to us how to do stuff, how to achieve a nice sound of the drums, of the guitars. And we send them all the files for him to work on it. And he even said that he was voluntarily willing to work with us in the process of editing the drums. It wasn't necessary at the end, but he did put up his hand and say like, okay, I can do it. So we thought like, man, this guy is great. We were really happy with him, and he did the mix very very fast. And when we heard it the first time, we were wow, he did an amazing job. And then when we started the process of giving him some feedback, some okay, maybe we want this to sound a bit different, or this to be have another type of intention. And he was very happy to do all the things that we wanted to shape or make reality the vision that we have envisioned before. So it was very nice to have him on our side, even for effects and some other stuff for the guitars that we had even imagined how we wanted it to sound, but in that moment we didn't have idea on how to make it. So we were telling him on an email we wanted to sound like beep. That's very hard to do in an email.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, I gotcha. And he recorded stuff in his studio and sent it to us to add to our songs. We were like, man, I cannot believe this guy is so great.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Actually, he also read the lyrics. He also told us stuff about how to proceed with like selling the album to the people. He sent us stuff to record maybe a guitar playthrough that we have scheduled for 2 weeks. I believe it's 21st of December. Yeah. And we're going to record also a drum playthrough. And he sent us stuff like, okay, maybe you should do this. And here you have the files to make it. I was like, that's a great idea. We should do that. Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm glad that you found someone that could help you with the editing and adding and giving you ideas. So that's amazing. And
Yeah, we're very glad that we have found him.
yeah, and also thank you for letting me interview you. It was awesome.